Straight into business news, and Yuka Raya is joining us here on set. Yuka, we're going to start off with a story about a woman who's set to make history. This is the World Trade Organization.
Oh, that's right, Stuart. Her name is Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala, and she's set to be the first woman and the first African to head the WTO. This after the other contender, South Korea's trade minister, pulled out of the race, and the US administration under President Joe Biden threw its support behind her candidacy. Now, President Trump had been opposing it, making it difficult to reach a consensus-based decision a WTO needs to choose its new leader. The organisation has been looking for a replacement since Robert Azevedo stepped down last summer, more than a year before the end of his mandate. Andrew Hillier has more.
Poised to make history. After years of fierce opposition to her appointment, led by former US President Donald Trump, Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala is on the verge of becoming the World Trade Organization's first female and first African leader. Her only contender, South Korea's trade minister, pulled out of the running on Friday. And when Joe Biden's administration subsequently backed her candidacy, the path was clear for her to take the helm. The 66-year-old Nigerian has served twice as her home country's finance minister. She's nurtured a reputation as a down-to-earth working mother of four. Back in 2018, she told France 24 that policymakers needed to rethink globalization so that the poorest aren't left behind.
People have forgotten that globalization, even though it benefited many developing countries, also left a lot of losers. What we need to do is to make sure we have active labor market policies.
The World Trade Organization has taken a battering after 4 years of Donald Trump in Washington. It was relentlessly attacked by the former US president, and it failed to curb rising tensions between the US and China that led to a trade war, triggering calls for an overhaul of the global trade body. Okonjo-Iweala's likely appointment could be a sign that the organization is finally ready to shake things up.
Andy Hillier there. Let's check in on the day's trading action now, Yuka.
Well, European markets here started trading on a positive note, taking a cue from last week's rally on Wall Street, lifted by progress in US stimulus talks. Earlier, Asian shares also mostly rallied, with Tokyo's Nikkei rising above the 29,000 yen mark for the first time in more than 3 decades. South Korea's Kospi, though, as you can see, finished the day in the red, down by about 1%. And on the commodities markets, oil prices are up, reaching a 1-year high and now back to pre-pandemic levels. Brent crude and WTI both up by about 1.25% a short while ago. Crude prices have surged in recent weeks on optimism that COVID-19 vaccines could restore energy demand. Deep supply cuts last year by OPEC and its partners also helped fuel the price hike. Some of the world's largest oil traders, however, have sounded caution against too much optimism this early. The head of Vital's Asian operations said in an interview that the market was getting ahead of itself in terms of a post-vaccine euphoria.
Going to talk about China on the programme now, unveiling new anti-monopoly rules targeting internet giants.
Well, that's right. Beijing's internet market regulator released new guidelines on Sunday, formalising an earlier draft law that was unveiled back in November. The new rules target internet platforms such as Alibaba Group's Taobao and Tmall marketplaces and JD.com. They will also cover payment services like Alipay and WeChat Pay. China has been stepping up efforts to crack down on some internet giants, setting rules against certain practices that the authorities regard as monopolistic. The new guidelines tighten existing restrictions imposed on Chinese tech.
And meanwhile, Chinese internet users are really flocking to a new social media app, enjoying censor-free talk on some pretty sensitive issues, aren't they?
That's right. Well, this app is called Clubhouse, and it's an invitation-based audio-only social media platform, and for now only available for iOS devices like iPhones. Now, it's built a kind of elite following since it was launched in March of last year in the United States, as you need an invitation from an existing user to join. It's Also quite secretive, as users are banned from recording or talking about issues discussed on the platform. Since its launch in Asia a few days ago, it's kind of seen a phenomenal success in some countries, and Chinese internet users have been talking about sensitive issues, as you said, such as Taiwan and the political situation in Hong Kong, seemingly enjoying censorship-free conversations. Many wonder, though, how long it will stay that way.
Yes, exactly. We shall see. Clubhouse, keep an eye on it. Thank you very much, Yuka with the business on France 24.